Whoa, here we are. We're going to do a Path and Tarot collective reading here. These readings, the idea is that they're meant for anybody at any time. There's a series of them already. There's a collection that you can go through with a playlist and watch them if you haven't seen them before. And all you gotta do is set an intention and see what the reading delivers. So these are like time capsules in a way, if you think about it. And we'll go through the cards, and we'll make up the reading that way and put it all together. So with something like this, it's going to be valuable for you at a later time. So if you come across this a few years from now or a few months and you see it, it will mean something to you. And you can go back through some of the other readings and watch them in order or in whatever order you feel and put it all together. If you go out of sequence, you may see something kind of interesting. So we've got the tarot deck, we've got the elemental deck, and the playing card deck all put into one deck here in the Orphalese Tarot program. So far, I've been using it here for this reading series, and it's fantastic. It's a great, quick way to interact with the cards. And an interesting thing is that because you're not physically interacting with cards, you don't damage them. So that's a neat thing. You can actually preserve a deck if you really, really wanted to, if it's a special deck, something out of print, something like that. You could digitize it in a certain way, and you can put it to work this way. And it's a benefit for me as well. I don't have a lot of physical space, and a lot of my cards are in storage at the moment. So something like this is actually a major benefit at this time. But you do lose the physical part of feeling the cards. You miss out on that, but you do gain some, other benefits. But what I can tell you so far is that this program somehow connects with like your subconscious and this like underlining collective energy, and it performs. It's really outstanding in its performance. I've been impressed so far with all the readings and the uncanniness that seems to come out of the readings that using a tarot deck would allow for, and so. It's been great so far. So with that preamble out of the way, we'll get right into the reading here and get into it here. So let's do it. Let's shake up the cards. Water. So water is the element for like emotion. And if you want to have a shortcut for elements, you can really think in terms of the tarot. So if you know your tarot really well, you know immediately sort of what this element is. Each of the five Western elements, you can think of them as a collection of all the tarot cards in that suit. So all the cups, as an example, would be the encompassing nature of water. So you've got like relationships, you've got access, too much to drink, something like that. All that's part of the water energy. So here I'm going to put the water down below because water, it wants to flow to its natural state. It wants to fall. So I want to put it there for now. So emotion is what we're thinking about right now. So let's get another card. Cool. Cavalier of Cups. So this is great to see the first tarot card being a court card. And what that can typically represent is like the human element in the tarot reading. So maybe myself, or maybe that's you. Tarot cards would the court cards in the tarot would normally indicate the seeker, the querent, the person being read for in a reading, or someone could choose what they wanted that card to be out of all the court cards. But in this case, it's a fairly open reading. We're just gonna see what the cards allow us to see. We're not really going to ask any questions, which is why you can come back to this at any time and sort of ask your own question and see what comes up. But having the court card come up like this, it's an indication from Spirit that it sees us in the reading. It sees me doing the reading here. I'm the cavalier, as from the perspective of the reading, which is kind of interesting. And court cards don't come up that often as well. You gotta remember that. There's only 4 times 4 of those cards out of the 78. So extreme energies of water. So that's what we've got to work with right now. So I'm not sure where to place this. I kind of want to put it right here, right beside the water. We got Earth. I'm going to put that right here too. So Earth is the counterpart to water, I feel, because the energies harmonize. Earth and water play off each other, so it feels good that's right here. But we can look at Earth as like your physical reality. So being grounded, understanding resources, money plays into that too. Earth is pentacles, diamonds to the playing cards as well. So we got a black triangle. So this feels like a pretty good foundation, but the foundation I think is based in the extremes of emotion, which can sometimes be okay. Sometimes you got to go to the whatever end of it to feel the boundaries of your emotional spectrum. Now imagine being like in the middle the whole time, being not going too far one way. You don't know what the extremes feel like. It's actually sometimes a good thing to feel the extremes in either direction of whatever emotion you want to go, and then you know your boundaries. So I think what this is really saying at this time is that the extreme energy of the Cavalier is to maybe establish boundaries, and I think that works really good with the Earth element we have, which is really the physical world anyway. So it's the boundaries, your emotional connection with the physical world, testing the extremes to find out the absolute limits of it, basically. And I think that's a good foundation that we got right there at the bottom. So let's put stuff on top of it. Two of Wands. I think I want to put this one here. It makes sense because fire doesn't necessarily work with either of the two elements, but it feels like the most stable on top of Earth anyways, because you can think of fire as a purifying energy, for that suit. The wands are fire, wands are clubs in the playing cards, but in here we've got like of the energy of vitality, the animating force of life, but it's transformative. And so I think it fits good over Earth, and we're dealing with dominance. So again, it's painting a nice picture of establishing your boundaries and gaining control over your reality. Let's see what else we got. We got another, see, like when you start seeing the patterns unfold like this, it's really cool. So as we can, we're getting like a fire connection up here, but then we've also got this like linear vertical connection with our court cards. There was no way for us to know what was what could be put over top. I'm sort of just intuitively placing cards in the space that I have, because I've made up a space right up here. We're going to fill up these two spaces and one more, and that's going to be the reading. But this could have been anything, but the fact that it's a court card lines up nicely, so that's really cool to see. And it's expanding on the energy. So the Cavalier's a little bit more mature than the Jack's energy, and the Jack can be sort of, it's a gender is sort of, it can be either divine or masculine or feminine energy. It can be a little bit of both. Other decks have the Jack as like the princess or the page, and the Cavaliers are the knights, which are more of like a masculine energy. But in this case, we can sort of, you can make the decision yourself, knowing now what you know about, court cards and such. You can sort of use that to however you want to see it. But, in this case, we can just strictly look at it as just energy, and see that the Jack of Wands is offering like a perennial energy. Perennial, I like that word. I chose that for this card specifically to mean something that's in all season. It's available at all times of the year. And so when we're dealing with testing your like grip on reality, going to the extremes and understanding your environment, putting dominance over like the physical world, that's something that you want to be able to do over long periods of time anyways. Like, not have it be just something that you do and forget about. It's something that you want to like keep doing. And we've got some fire energy as well, which is great. And then the Jack, their elemental association is Earth, so it's connecting with the Earth right here, which is kind of cool. So let's see what other card we got here. We got some more fire. Cool. See, and then here we got an interesting pattern of 2-3. But this is a playing card, and that's the cool thing here is that we can, but using playing cards, tarot, and these element cards all mixed together, you can get some really cool patterns happening and different information altogether, because the playing cards, they have a different meaning codex. They have different meanings associated to the cards. They're not like the tarot cards. You could treat them like that if you had just regular playing cards and you wanted to work with them that way, you could. But in the research that I've done, the playing cards have different meanings here. And so that's the cool thing, is we can get minor arcana-like cards that have different meaning associations. So we got the 3, so we got a nice 2-3 run here. Now the 3 of clubs and fire is dealing with long-term proposition, like new creativity, having another chance. So again, this is kind of cool because it's building off, our cavalier here testing the limits of his emotion in extreme ways. And it's going to allow like new creativity. And if you mess up in trying to establish your dominance over your reality, you get another chance. So, there's the universe always gives you another chance, but it just makes you repeat the last thing anyways. It's like you get stuck in a video game where it just has unlimited continues, but you're stuck at that same level until you beat the level. That's just kind of how it is. It's another chance. So we got another chance. We got 2 more chances here. We got 2 spaces left to fill, and we're going to put the queen right here. Because I like to use this space here as kind of the last card. Use up these spaces in whichever way I want to make a pattern, and then put the last card here that kind of ties it all together. And that makes for a good reading. And there's no sort of card spread that's pre-planned. It's just, put the space together and see what you have. But we've got the Queen of Water and Hearts. So the queen of I guess in cups, you can think of it as cups, but this queen is like the strongest of all the queens. To elaborate on that, any court card that is the suit within itself is the strongest because it's water. This is water inside of water. You like say that the Jack of Pentacles would be the strongest Jack out of all the 4 because it's earth within earth, basically. So we got the Queen of Water. So she's the strongest queen. So she's the most caring queen out of the whole deck. There's a maternal role. There's warm guidance. So whatever's happening in trying to establish the limits of your emotion, you'll be warmly guided by like a maternal role. Maybe not like somebody who fits the presence of the queen. It could just be in general something like some sort of maternal like energy that's taking care of you. It could be a group of people too that all collectively act as this queen like energy, or it could actually be a woman, in this case, like a caring woman. That could be the case. But again, you don't have to take these gender roles as they are. You can just treat them as energy. Divine masculine and divine feminine. It's really just send and receive, action, take action, receive. That sort of thing. So you could deal with this energy as like a receiving energy, a passive energy, in that way too. So something that's passive, that's hanging around the situation, is going to care. It's going to care for you. So that's an interesting way to kind of almost finish this off here with the last card. And we've got 3 court cards. So again, if we deal with court cards and how you can read court cards, you've got 1 court card. You can connect that to yourself in the reading. When you've got more than 1 court card, you can start to deal with either the layers of your own psyche, with just you peeling back those layers, or you can deal with many people involved in the situation too. In this case, I feel it's just maybe multiple people in the situation. So you've got maybe somebody else who's going to act as the Jack, that's going to be there, that helps this new creativity come about, creating the long-term proposition that the 3 of clubs is talking about. But this is more connected to your cavalier because you're trying to establish dominance on your emotional spectrum here. So let's get the last card. See what that is. Cool. 2 of Swords, Tranquility. So with something like that, I think in the end we're going to be in a place of peace, tranquility, quite literally. as we go through these changes, trying to establish the like the emotional limits of things. Um, I think all of this is really talking about creative projects too, and I think that's a cool thing to talk about because as we move forward in this world, a lot of the jobs that are going to be taken up, that are that could be potentially automated, it's going to force us to be creative to change the job opportunities that have to happen, right? So you have to there's going to be a very strong creative force to go forward in the future to figure out how we're going to help people if their jobs get displaced for whatever reason, creatively come up with new types of roles for people to work in. But also this speaks to anyone who's creative, naturally, an artist. What we're doing here is an intuitive art with tarot cards. Designing the cards themselves is an art form. Reading them is an art form. It's more of a performance, but it's art nonetheless. It's creativity. So if that relates to you in any way, if you're doing something performative, if you make YouTube videos, you're a content creator, this relates to you. It's, new creations. And I think all of it in the end, it points to our tranquility. Tranquility. It will lead you to a place where you want to be. But the way I look at the Two of Swords is that you can really understand. You can understand the tranquility by tossing a stone into a very calm body of water. You get to see how that ripple goes about in that calm water. So tranquility allows for that. So it allows you to see the full effect of something once it's calm. I think that's kind of a nice way to look at that last card here. Yeah, I think this is a really good reading here. So I hope that if you're watching this for the first time, that you set some kind of intention or thought of something to ask, and I think this gives a good message that could connect to a lot of people out there. Okay, so I will leave a few things in the the description here on YouTube, and if you see this on other platforms here, you can go to the bio link and connect that way and get access to other resources and such. But I'll see you out there in another collective reading.